Good afternoon. Welcome to Community Connections, brought to you by Family's Choice Electrical Repair. My name is Matt Wilkerson. This is Greg Steen, my partner.
Good afternoon.
We've got a good one today.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited.
We've got a good one today. How did we land this?
I really don't know. I think...
Wait till you get that invoice.
Oh, okay. Kevin Sheilley.
Info at Matt Wilkerson.
I'm telling you. First of all, thank you for taking the time. Kevin Sheilley, the CEO of the Ocala Metro Chamber and Economic Partnership, also known as the Ocala CEP. Thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely.
I happen to work beside you as well, so I know your calendar.
Yeah.
And for you to take the time to come over here and just simply talk to us about what we think is some important items that we're going to talk about today. Just thank you for taking the time to do
My
it.
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Always excited to talk about what's going on in our community and the good things that are happening here.
Yep. Awesome. You want to kick it off, Greg?
I'll kick it off. So tell us a little bit about the growth of Marion County versus the surrounding areas, and what do you feel that's going on, and what's going to the forecast look for us for the next couple of years?
So, here's the great thing. We're in Florida. And if you're not growing today in Florida, you're really doing something wrong. But not all growth is equal. So as we look at our growth, one of the things we can look at is how are we growing as a metro area, and we're a one-county metro compared to others. And we're doing really, really well. We're the 7th fastest growing metropolitan area in the country over the last 5 years.
Wow.
So that's consistency. We've got some other Florida metros on that list, but not necessarily the ones you would expect. And so that's really good. We can look at things like the U-Haul rankings. We're ranked number 1 where people are moving, or the National Association of Realtors rankings. We're ranked number 1. And there's all these great things we can look to and say, okay, here's how our community is performing compared to others. It was funny. I saw a video the other day from a guy looking at the pods list, and he was doing a really good job, but we were number 4 on the pods, and he's running through the top 5 cities. He goes, I don't know Ocala, Florida. It must be great. Why is Ocala on here with Nashville and Orlando and Myrtle Beach? What is it? And so I took an opportunity to share some information with him. So, yeah, we're seeing the population growth. About 1,000 people a month are moving to our community. One of the big changes we've seen is who those individuals look like. And what I mean by that is, for a long time, we're a retirement community. And most of the people moving here were retirees. And we're still getting our retirees, and we love our retirees because they spend money. But this real change we've seen over the last 3 years is a younger and younger. Actually, I take that back. It's really since about 2016 that we've seen it. It's just really accelerated since 2020. Is a younger demographic. Our fastest growing age group the last several years have been 30 to 39-year-olds. Wow. We see that happen. If you think about the homes we're seeing built.
Right.
Yeah, our retirement communities are still building, but it's all of these non-age restricted homes that we're adding. We see it with our school population growth. This idea that we're attracting more and more young people. And that's important because that's key workforce, that's key home ownership, and that's when you start having a family. So really building that piece of our community. And lastly, what I think is really exciting, when the CEP was formed 11 years ago Sunday. Wow, I just realized that. That one of the things was not only do we need jobs, but we need higher paying jobs. For a long time, the idea was you only had 2 things to sell in Ocala: cheap land and cheap labor. Well, neither of those are true anymore. And what we've really seen is over the last 10 years, the average wage in our country has increased 44%. And that's good. But the average wage in the Ocala Metro during that same period has increased 65%.
Yeah, I can see it. Yeah.
And so, we're still behind, but we're gaining ground. The only way we're going to gain ground is to grow faster than the state and the nation. And so that's really exciting that we're seeing this type of growth that's paying more. We're still far more affordable. We're the most affordable metro in Florida. Wow. And so seeing that growth happen, those are all pieces that make it really exciting.
Good deal. So let me ask you this. Tell us about job growth in Marion County, and is our population growth running parallel to the growth in multiple industries? So in other words, all these industries coming here, are we going to have the people to staff them?
Yeah. So that's a great question. One people ask me all the time. So our job growth is actually, and they're hard to compare because not everyone who moves, is ready to go in the workforce.
Sure.
Or needs to go in the workforce, or a student or a stay-at-home parent or someone who's caring for someone else. But what we know is we continue to see every month basically setting a new record for employment in the community as we look at the data from CareerSource. And we continue to see that diversify, right? I mean, I think this is fascinating. Over the last 18 months, I think I have this correct, in the state of Florida, 10 of those months, the Ocala Metro has led the state in the growth of IT jobs. Does that surprise you? Is it based on looking at your face? Yeah.
Wow.
So we're
Wow.
building this really diversified economy. We know how important healthcare is. Manufacturing continues to grow and do well here, uniquely in Florida. Of course, we've seen the huge boom in logistics, but it's really diversifying. What's key for us is not necessarily who lives in Ocala or the Ocala Metro, but who lives in Marion County as well as Alachua, Levy, Citrus, Lake, Sumter counties. We pull significant workforce from all of those communities. I saw a new data point the other day, which I was really intrigued with. Today, 80% of the workers in Marion County, and it was by county, work in Marion County. A few years ago, it was significantly less than that. So we're seeing this growth of people living here, working here, but also this continued huge momentum of what we get of people who are coming into our county to work every day.
Well, you know, I have seen this, but before we go to the next question, you think about it. When you have Dollar Tree, FedEx, Chewy, Amazon's, and so on, the World Equestrian Center, they've done demographic studies.
Yep.
They're not done.
Right.
So they see what's going on here.
Right.
And with all this growth to come outside of the county, just a Dollar Tree alone.
Yeah.
I know it's automated, but there's a lot of staff.
So they have 250 employees now. When the new facility opens in the spring, the expansion, they're still going to have to add another 400 employees.
Yeah.
Even with all the automation, they're just going to be higher wage employees because they're higher skills. But one of the things that we do, to your point about Amazon and these companies looking at workforce studies, is we run 3 different workforce analyses. One for North, what we call North Metro, one for Central, and one for Southwest. And Southwest is really focused on Marion Oaks. And it's 3 different labor sheds. We can give you different numbers depending on where you're looking, knowing that. So, for example, if you're in Alachua County, you're probably not driving to Dollar Tree to go to work.
Okay.
But you're certainly going to drive from Lake County to go to work there, or from Sumter County, or from Citrus County. So really being able to look at that data and demonstrate, not only this is, hey, these are people here, or this is what we think, this is based on actual commuting patterns, what people are already doing. So that gives us not a workforce shed of 250,000 people, but a workforce shed of 620 some odd thousand people. So that allows us to continue to attract companies, but to play much bigger than we actually are.
Good deal.
So as
Very
far as
cool.
all the growth that we're talking about, the different companies and everything like that, so how many square feet would you estimate of warehouse space between the last couple of years versus the next 2 or 3 years out in Marion County?
Okay, I got to think about that one for just a minute. So, we can think, just in the last year, we've added 1, 2, 4, 5 million square feet in
That's
the last
already
year of
added.
industrial.
Wow.
I think when I remember looking, maybe let's say around 2013, 2014, we had around 10 million square feet of industrial. I think today we have 24 million square feet of
More
industrial.
than double.
So yeah, and I think you're going to see we're in an interesting time because of interest rates. Even though there's demand, spec developers are everyone's a little more cautious. Even getting, we've got several buildings now that are under contract, but we can't get the leases done. Everyone's being so careful right now. What's going to happen with interest rates? What's going to happen with the economy? I think at the end of the day, they're all going to get done. Everyone's just being a little more careful. But we're talking this morning. I was on a call with another company, looking at how big do we build in Ocala? We know we got to be in Ocala. How big do we build? So I think we're going to continue to see that because if you think about Florida, we're a peninsula of 22 plus million people. If you're going to serve Florida, if you're going to be in Florida, you've got to be in Florida. And Ocala reaches more people in more places.
We're in the nucleus.
Right in the middle.
Right here.
Yeah.
Right where X marks the spot. And so you're going to continue to see companies who need to be in Florida, want to serve Florida, have facilities here. And that's not just logistics. That's true of manufacturing.
Right.
We're more and more wanting to get closer to the customer. But we're also seeing it in office. Companies like, hey, we need to have a presence in Florida. And we are, our biggest drawback to getting more office projects, and this is the absolute truth, is I don't have anywhere to put them. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a new office built in this market? We turn down companies. We try, but we don't have anywhere to put them. They'll reach out and say, hey, I need a office space. And I'm like, well, so do I. But,
It's true. I've looked at our office spaces and they're just not there.
it's just not here. And so, at some point, we're doing a lot of talking, and again, with interest rates at 8%, no one's going to budge on that. But there'll be someone who has funds to invest who think, just like we got people to start building industrial, to start building multifamily, we're going to get someone to start building office,
Nice.
and we'll be able to fill it.
That'd definitely be a game changer.
So, Greg, if you're looking a place to invest all that money you've got, I've got an opportunity
See,
for
I was
you.
looking at 30 to 40 floors, and I know in Marion County there's a height limit.
Height
so,
limit, yeah.
Yes, there
So we
is.
go out.
Okay.
So let's change gears for a minute. You have spoke about this several times. I'm a supporter, so I wanted to give you a little bit of airtime on this. Can you tell us why you were such a big supporter of the penny sales tax?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the penny sales tax, or the official name is the infrastructure surcharge tax. In 2015, so some history to make it make sense. The Marion County Board of County Commissioners was looking at bringing back transportation impact fees. They needed dedicated revenue for road building, and they had suspended the fees during the Great Recession, looking at bringing it back. And so they had a consultant's report, which is required, but those consultants are like everyone. They don't live here. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be marketable. They just can say, here's a number.
Looks good on paper.
Yeah. And so we're like, hold on. This number gives us a lot of concern. We need to build roads. We understand the need for it, but this is going to impact building that we need. And so we said, look, county, will you hold up just a little bit? Let us put together a task force, look at this, and come back with recommendations. And so we put together a task force of home builders, general contractors, road builders, bankers, financiers, land use attorneys, engineers, everyone who's involved in the process. We had about 20 to 24 people. And we looked at a lot of data, had presentations come in, share what's going on. And we came back with 3 recommendations to the county. One, put the 1 cent sales tax on the ballot, with 60% for transportation, 40% for our first responders. Because we had needs that we knew were growing then. Hey, here's a way we can take care of the capital needs, free up more money for salaries and personnel. 2, implement the impact fees, but at 20 and 10% of the consultant's recommendation. And then 3, we made a recommendation regarding some millage. And the county said, okay, we're going to do the first 2, but the sales tax is a lost cause. You're wasting your time. No one in Marion County is going to vote for a tax. We're the most anti-tax place anywhere, but you all want to do that, fine, do it, and we can tell you we told you so. So we created a political committee. We went and raised the funds. We had, by the time the county put it on the ballot, we had 8 weeks, I think it was on the March presidential primary ballot. And while everyone told us it's never going to pass, it passed with 55% of the vote. And so then, absolutely to the city and the county's credit, they use those funds exactly as they said they were going to, and they've shown, hey, here we're building this road with these pennies. We're building this police substation, or this fire station, or buying this ambulance, whatever it is, with these pennies. And so then in 2020, we led the campaign and got it renewed, I think, with 71%
Right.
of the vote. We lost 1 precinct by 1 vote. And so, we're going to, I'll just go ahead and tell you now, we're going to be working with the county to encourage them. It's up for renewal next year, to put it back. We brought our task force back together to put it back, to bring it back to voters, but this time for an even longer period of time. You can't build roads in four-year
Right, no.
increments.
Yes.
It takes too long. So let's extend that out. But what we know is people understand. When citizens understand, here's the need, here's how this addresses this need, and here's how it's being done, they appreciate that transparency.
Well, plus with 71% last time, do you feel pretty confident that we're going to get it passed?
A year plus out, sure. We've done polling, and I'll tell you, the polling told us our consultant was amazed. He says never seen one poll as high as this one did, and so we're really pleased with that, because I think that really, again, goes to community's done exactly what we said we were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about partnership, and I think the other thing that's so key is you mentioned World Equestrian Center earlier, and we think about how many people commute into the county.
Oh,
We
yeah.
talked about them. And people who come here to visit,
Right.
they're paying that sales tax.
Yes.
We know it's hard to get good data on it, but our economists looked at it and told us at least 30% of it is being paid by people who don't live here.
Yes.
So 30% of the cost for our roads and our first responders are paid by people who don't live here.
Yes.
They're using our roads and depending on our
Right.
first responders. Let's let them help pay for it. And that's the only way we can
Yeah, I
do
know
that.
driving down the road or anything like that, once in a while I see those signs, this is your pennies at work,
Yep.
and I'm like, perfect. And if you went from 50% something to over 70%, people have seen that
Yeah.
you use it responsibly.
And it's you know, it takes education. How many people have moved to our community since we implemented that?
Right.
So we've got to educate them. We've got to tell them about it. But to me, it's one of the best ways directly to see, here's the cost, here's how it's spent, here's how it benefit.
It's
I
it's
appreciate that.
needed.
Yeah. And I think other people, and that's key with the county and city is, we can say, oh, we know we're going to get it renewed or we feel really confident. They don't budget. So they're assuming that after next year, all
It's
that money
gone.
disappears.
Right.
So, to really allow them to plan roads, and that's the biggest piece, to plan roads properly, we've got to have that. We need to extend that for a
6
longer
to 10
term.
years or so.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
So right now, what do you think is one of the biggest challenges for Marion County?
So in what way? The biggest challenge internally, biggest challenge externally, biggest challenge
Internally.
internally. I will tell you, I think it's been one of the community's long-term issues. For the longest time, we had poor self-esteem. Oh, we're just slow, Ocala. I don't know why anybody'd come here. It's not gonna work well. And I think we've managed to put that to bed, and we don't have to deal with that. But it's still a sense that, I'll get all, well, we're just paving all of our farms. Wherever we can build, we're building. Helping people to pull back and actually look at the data. 89% of Marion County is low or no build. It won't be built. 89%.
89%.
89%. That means we only have 11%. And if you look at the map, the county's done a fantastic job of doing a map. The only dots that show up on this map outside of our urban growth boundary and our urbanized areas are World Equestrian Center. Everything else is in this boundary.
Wow.
But you know what? How do we pay for roads throughout our community? How do we pay for utilities? How do we pay for first responders? I get all the time, I don't want us to build, but I need better internet.
Right.
Well, how we pay for these things, how we do all this, is we've got to develop that 11%. So I tell people, I try to be really clear. I want to be honest with them. If you live in the urban growth boundary and there's a farm behind your house, it's probably going to be a development site. It has to be, because if you want that, we've got 89% of our county where you can go have a farm, you can go out. We've got to build and develop in this 11%. And we already see that. Of the 400,000 people who live in our community, something like 380 some odd thousand of them live within that urban growth area.
Wow, that's amazing.
Okay, so I'm going to let you brag a little bit.
All right.
Okay. How has the 2020, not state, but national Chamber of the Year, how have you played such an integral part in the prosperity of Marion County as far as equine development, health, industrial,
Yep.
and on?
And I am very proud of that. So
Yes.
thank you. When the CEP was formed 11 years ago, the vision was to be something different, not to be your traditional chamber. In fact, our vision is up on our walls. It says, be a model of excellence of what a 21st century chamber should be and do. And how do we, our end goal is how do we create and retain jobs, provide a positive return on investment for partners? How do we reimagine what a chamber is and what it does? And that initial board and all the boards since then have given us a lot of freedom about that to respond to the needs of our community. And I think the key is the last word in our name, and that's partnership. We fully view it as a partnership, not just with individual businesses, which it is, but we're partnering, representing the business community with the city, with the county, with the school board, with the college, with all these entities where we can really come aside and say, here's what we do best. County, let us lead on the sales tax. We can do that. You can't. We can make a difference. Schools, we're never going to teach you how to teach. That's not what we need to do. But let's bring the resources. Let's bring businesses in. Let's talk about the need. Let's find funding for technical education. Let's make sure, and one of the things we're working on now is how do we build more schools? How do we fund that? Let us do our part so you all can do your part better. And if we have amazing, excellent schools, that makes our job of recruiting businesses even easier. And so I think it's been that being able to build an entity that stays focused on about our mission, be a catalyst for a prosperous community. How do we stay focused on that mission while impacting these different areas. And so, again, that great ability to come in after the merger. And I tell people all the time, one of the things is we barbecued a lot of sacred cows. We were able to get rid of things that other chambers want to get rid of. They don't want to do anymore, but we've always done it. Well, when you're in year 7 of double-digit unemployment, you can do things differently, and you can get away with killing off a few programs and projects. Not that they weren't good, they just weren't core to who we were and how we were going to create a prosperous community. Right.
I will say this. Although I see both sides of this, I was a partner with the CEP whenever I had my Verizon store. Now that I'm on staff, I have seen both sides of this, and I have been a member of several chambers. And there's a difference here. It is not the average chamber where they get your investment, and whether you get involved or show up, or it doesn't matter. We're more proactive. It is about making the partners get as much benefit as they can from this. All the lanes that we have to network, collaborate, build relationships, we're truly proactive versus just saying, well, you've paid, you don't have to show up. Well, we can't force you to, but we want you to.
Absolutely. I believe with all of my heart that the things we do help businesses be more successful.
Yes.
Either by meeting new customers, new partners, learning new ways to do business. That really does impact their business in a positive way. But if they don't take advantage of it, if they don't realize it, if they get so focused on working in their business, they forget to work on their business.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is critical. That is critical.
Man,
Nail right there.
how do
Boom.
we do this? So that's why, a lot of chambers do networking. But one of the things that's key to me is I don't want to just do networking. Let's teach people how to network so they do it efficiently, effectively to really grow their business. And we've got some incredible pros to help with that who can say, hey, look, here's what I do, and it works.
It worked for me.
Yeah.
See, that's what I find amazing with the chambers. Not only do you have so many members, it's not just that. You have active members that we're all collaborating, coming
Plus,
together.
we're not members, we're partners.
Partners. But it's just to have them all there, and everyone it's just, and it doesn't really matter if you're the top tier or the low tier, medium tier. Everyone just gets together, has a good time, and networks.
Yeah, and that's at the end of the day, there could be something that champion or that chairman circle partner needs that business level partner can offer.
Right.
And so we connect them. At the end of the day, they're not going, well, you're just a business level partner, so I can't do business with you. No. Hey, I need this, so how do we make it work?
We value your partnership.
Right.
That's true. That's true. Well, listen, I have one more question for you, but before we ask this
boy.
question,
I'll get my
now
boots on.
just go ahead and get ready. Thank you for taking the time. Very
Always.
valuable
Really appreciate
information.
that.
We're going to be sharing this on our YouTube channel and also Facebook. But I have a question for you. I'm around in the community a lot, and I have a lot of people asking me. They're inquiring about this. Who is this CEP sign guy that you guys have on staff?
He's like-
He
You know-
is everywhere.
Photos of photos on his legs.
One of the
What
things
is
we
going
do,
on?
kind of community support, is occasionally, you may have someone with special needs you bring on your team, and that's sometimes what we do to help put people.
I walked into
give
that
them,
one.
Give them something to do.
I
and-
walked into that one. Oh, man.
Oh man.
I walked into that one.
Oh
You
wow, that's
can't trick him.
good. That's
Yeah,
good.
thank you.
Man, oh man.
He was
All right.
expecting, some praise and stuff like that. But you,
He's a Tennessee fan, so there's nothing more than.
oh wow, man.
Okay, and we're cutting now. Hey, listen. Okay. Well, again, Kevin Sheilley, the CEO of the Ocala Metro Chamber and Economic Partnership. Thank you for your time. Very informative. Share it if you see this video on a YouTube channel or our Facebook page. Make sure and share it. We want to get it out to the viewers.
And if someone is not a partnership right now and was thinking about becoming a partnership, what should they do? Who should they reach out? Or-
There's a couple ways to do it. You can go to ocalicep.com and click on the Join Now, Partner Now button. You can call the CEP. The number's on that website. Or you can email. You can click on that more information, and it'll get to us, and we'll follow up with you.
Or tackle down the
sign
guy.
You see the sign
CEP
guy.
sign guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I walked right into that. I won't
That was
do that
good. I
again with
love
him.
that. That's awesome.
All right, listen,
Thank you for
this
being
has
here.
been
Really
Community
appreciate it.
Connections brought to you by Family's Choice Electrical Repair. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.